The thing about going and doing what I do every single day is that you start to kind of see through the facade of not only the place that you're at, but the people that are there as well. You start to see the patterns and you see different people doing the same things day after day. You start to learn where the light is going to go at certain times of the day. And after doing this for a while, it's actually become kind of a ritual that I'm like compelled to take part in as often as possible. And I try really hard to trust the process and the ritual, even though I can't really see where it's leading me. Trusting the process can be a really scary thing to do, but after I started to trust what the process could provide me with, that's kind of when it became second nature to me. And when that happened, the photos almost became like incidental to the process. And with the photographs being such a small part of the larger meaning of it all, it almost like freed my brain up to stop worrying about like producing work. Instead, you start to worry about how often you're going to be able to take part in the process, because you know when you do take part of it, the work will kind of take care of itself. I know it sounds insane if you've never experienced it, but once you get into flow state when you're out taking photos, you're not really worrying about making great work. It just sort of happens. But in order to get into that flow state and make that great work, you do have to put yourself in a position of being able to take those photos. And choosing what position you want to put yourself in over and over and over again can be really tricky. And I guess it really just comes down to picking a niche, because what you're effectively committing to when you choose a niche, like what I do anyway, and I would assume it's this way for other niches as well, you're fundamentally changing how you are going to perceive that topic or niche for the rest of your life. Seeing the patterns that emerge is something that I don't think a lot of people outside of like the employees of where I take photos get to see. And even then, I think you really need to be roaming the parks constantly to see patterns like that appear. All of this is stuff that's been on my mind a lot lately, as I'm almost 2 years into photographing Disney World right now. And if I'm being really honest, I feel like I've barely scratched the surface, and I could take photos here for the next 25 years and still feel like I've barely scratched the surface with the amount of stories that I could tell at this place. But if you're just getting started with photography, or you're trying to choose a niche, or you're trying to choose a longer term project like what I'm doing, it can be really difficult. I was finding that the difficulty was coming from trying to get the shot. But as I've gotten further down the rabbit hole that is photography, I've started to realize that it's about showing up over and over again and again, and letting the camera be a part of that ritual and not the entire ritual. It's about trusting that just because I can't see it clearly right now doesn't mean I'm going to be blind to it forever. And at least for me, good work happens when I just kind of let go. Letting go might be the biggest part of creativity for me. Not letting go of the effort, but letting go of the control, and letting go of chasing the shot so I can stay present enough to notice what's actually happening around me. The longer I've done this, the more I've realized the value isn't in the photos necessarily. It's in the patterns. It's in the light that I can start to predict. It's the people that I can start to understand without ever having spoken to them. But that only happens when you show up over and over again. That's the ritual. That is the point. The ritual is the catalyst to creativity for me. The photos are a byproduct of the ritual, and it's really easy to focus on everything but making this a ritual. But if you do anything every single day, like wake up and have a cup of coffee, that's a ritual. And when that ritual gets altered, your day can get thrown off. It's the same thing with photography. The more you trust that ritual, the more the creativity follows. So when you really start to trust the ritual, you stop worrying about the outcome. You stop stressing over every single shot, because you know the work is going to happen if you just stay in the process. And that is when shit just really clicks. It's not about trying to force a creative moment. It's about showing up again and again and letting the ritual guide you. Because the more you do that, the more prolific you will be. Not because you chased it, but because you were present enough to let it unfold in front of you. And you were ready to capture it because you were there. In the end, it's not about the photos, it should be about the journey and the way that ritual shapes your vision, your creativity, and ultimately the stories that you are telling with your camera. So, trust the process, trust the ritual, and know that with time, the work will come. So the next time you pick up your camera, don't think about the result, just think about showing up over and over and keep trusting your process. Over time, the ritual will shape your work into something deeper and more meaningful. And that is the whole point. You just gotta show up over and over again for it to happen. So, if you noticed, if you're a regular subscriber and watcher of mine, you may have noticed this looks better today. I got a new camera finally, and I'm finally able to shoot some more B-roll. I've been learning how to use this thing, and I've been just really stoked on the journey that I'm going through getting to know this camera. So if you want to see more of the photos that I am taking with this new camera, or just more of my work in general, make sure you go over and check me out on Instagram. I post every single day over there. If you don't, maybe you should. And I have a video about that, and I'll put it right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Like to find her out. See ya.